The public protector is looking to the president to take disciplinary action against Public Enterprises Minister Pravin Gordhan. Last week, Busisiwe Mkhwebane announced that Gordhan broke the law when he approved former SARS head Ivan Pillay's retirement package. For some analysis on her findings, I'm joined by Freedom Under Law Executive Officer Nicole Fritz. Very good morning, Nicole. Good to talk to you.
Good morning. Thanks for having me on your show.
Now, you as Freedom Under Law say this was all a rehash of the discredited charges against him under former President Jacob Zuma's administration. Explain that for us.
That's right. So several years ago, we had an attempt to charge Minister Gordhan, Mr. Pillay, Mr. Magashule, in respect to the exact same matters that now frame the report issued by the public protector. 21 days later, there was a sort of fairly notorious climb down on the part of then National Director of Public Prosecutions, Shaun Abrahams, of those charges on the basis that there was really no evidence supporting wrongdoing on the part of these three individuals. And it's why, I mean, it's not just that episode within the National Prosecuting Authority's history, but that these particular matters have come before several other commissions, determining bodies like the Nugent Commission, and there has been no evidence of wrongdoing found. And so our submission is that the public protector is attempting to serve reheat a dish that has long been cold as evidence of wrongdoing.
You also go on to say that you're confirming her disregard for fairness and the basic tenets of justice. You're almost questioning her capacity here.
Well, it is concerning for us. I think that the report, having read the report, there are a number of aspects of the report, considerable aspects of the report that can be questioned. But I think even if you're not a lawyer, even if you don't understand which provisions are being referred to and the extent to which they are being erroneously used, I think just as a layperson, one has to be concerned by the fact that she receives the submissions from the implicated parties less than 48 hours before she issues her report and makes her findings, and ahead of a weekend when we know there's an anticipated cabinet decision on the part of President Ramaphosa. And I think that failure to afford due process, to ensure procedural fairness in respect to the implicated parties, is something that would strike even the layperson as enormously concerning.
So you're questioning the timing as well. You're questioning the timing of the actual announcement of her the report itself, and also you're questioning the fact that she only gave respondents 48 hours. And this may lead to some sort of political influence. Why would she be doing this in your view? So, I mean, again, we're not privy to what, if there is an agenda and what the agenda is. I mean, we do believe that Minister Gordhan, and this is indicated again by the attempt to charge him when Shaun Abrahams was at the helm. Mr. Gordhan has been targeted. I think he is seen as a potential block on state, on those who would enable state capture. He is seen as proffering some accountability. And I think that there are powerful political interests in this country who would like him to see him not in a position of political power, not in a position where he is able to clean up state-owned enterprises, to ensure that there is accountability for the decade of state corruption that we have seen in this country. And whether she is doing that knowingly or it is just coincidental, it is enormously concerning that essentially that this could be used in order to neutralize what we believe is the significance of Mr. Gordhan's political office. Okay, so you're questioning her basic tenets, a knowledge of justice, of the justice system and so forth, but she's saying in a report that she found that Gordhan acted irregularly because the laws under which he acted provided for people who wanted to retire early from public service, yet Pillay had not, in fact, and in law, actually retired. Is she wrong?
She is wrong, and again, I mean, we can talk about the particular provisions within the PMFA which enable this. We can point to the many other instances in which this had been authorized. We can point to the fact that Minister Gordhan took 3 months in order to make his decision. He received very many pieces of legal advice before making his decision, none of which suggested that he was not authorized to undertake this. We've seen many persons in political office, when they get legal advice they don't like, putting out for seeking to get legal advice that chimes with what they want to do.
Yeah.
But he got 6 different pieces of legal advice, and in no case was he told that he would be prohibited, he would be acting unlawfully to authorize this early retirement.
Okay, so this is from your point, is very concerning, because this is the Public Protector's Office, and it's one of those institutions that we really need to safeguard in a democracy, isn't it?
It is, and look, we have seen the Public Protector's role is enormous. It's weighty. Certainly, previous incumbents have done an enormous amount to uphold and strengthen the Constitution, and it's not something Freedom Under Law does not lightly seek to criticise the Public Protector and her office. And there are many who would say, well, if this is of concern, the Minister must take her report on review, and the courts will decide. But the fact is that even in the best case scenario, could take months, if not years, before, with appeals, before the courts finally come to the conclusion. The Public Protector, as the officer of the court, is well aware of this. For that period, it would mean that this country would not have the services of Minister Gordhan. We're not saying that he's the only person who can do a good job, perform with integrity and conscientiousness. Mm-hmm. But as the Minister of State-Owned Enterprises, he has started on a road of looking to clean up state-owned enterprises. If he is neutralized, if he's removed, that means his team goes too. And essentially, I think that's at the cost to the country and the people of this country.
Now, some are calling for the Public Protector's resignation. What are your thoughts as Freedom Under Law? What would you want to see?
Well, we're not taking we haven't taken a position on that. I do think it's concerning that her report, in respect of which we do have criticisms, comes on the back and in the same week in which there was a High Court judgment against her report on the Estina dairy farm matter. And there the court said she failed to show that she had an open and inquiring mind, which is absolutely fundamentally required of the Office of the Public Protector, that she had failed to show the public that she was intent on discovering the truth, or even making an attempt at discovering the truth. And our concern is that that criticism may be levelled against her and her office in respect of this report that comes down on Friday. And I think it's hard for the public to have trust in such a powerful office if we are getting this type of scathing criticism of her office and the way she wields her powers from the courts of our country.
There is commentary that the Public Protector is spending so much time on smaller matters where she should be focusing on maybe what's coming out of the commissions that are taking place at the present moment, the PIC, the Zondo Commission. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think it's interesting, again, if one is going to hold up her conduct in respect to the Estina dairy farm matter, she cited resource constraints as reasons why she failed to look at some of the most significant figures who were implicated in the scandal, like the Premier, like the MEC. She cites resource constraints as to why she doesn't investigate who the beneficiaries are, the beneficiaries that are named. Did they in fact get any real benefit? She's provided with their names and their numbers, and she doesn't, well, yes. She makes not even the most cursory investigation in respect of those beneficiaries. And so you cite resource constraints in order not to do a proper job in respect of one of the biggest scandals of the last decade. Certainly in the public mind, I think, one of the most egregious episodes of state capture. And yet you seek to rehash this matter over a decade old that has been, turned over by numerous investigative bodies and not found to support any evidence of wrongdoing.
Okay, thank you so much for your thoughts. That's Executive Officer for Freedom Under Law, Nicole